Hello and welcome to this session of business research methods. Today we will be seeing what are the steps in building a questionnaire. Okay, so yesterday we had seen all the kinds of questions that are there, and then I had asked you all to do some exercise for take example of each of the question type and then build 2-3 questions. So today we will see the steps involved in building a questionnaire. Specify the data needed and operational definition. Supposing you're doing a research on brand management, customer satisfaction, perception of customers, expectations of customers, or quality assessment. So any of these things, specify the data needed. That means your objective should be very, very clear. Supposing you are going to study on Uber, then you say, what is it that you want to study on Uber? The first factor that you want to study is Uber as an application, right? Number 2, Uber and its transportation services. Number 3, Uber and its food services. So like this, you specify the data needed and give the operational definition. Uber is an online service and they have, we are going to study from 3. What is the 3 operational definition, right? Application and feedback on application, first aspect. Second aspect, Uber transportation and feedback on that. Third, Uber food and feedback on that. So you be very clear. Second step, determine the survey method. If you are doing a face-to-face interview, you don't need a questionnaire. Only if it is a descriptive study, then you need to prepare a questionnaire. So the survey method I'm going to do is face-to-face or over the phone, okay? But primary data collection. And I'm going to do a questionnaire method, okay? So that is the survey method I've decided. Determine the questions, content, wording, structure. Very important, okay? The first question I would ask is, do you have Uber services in your phone, app in your phone? What are the other apps that you have related to transport and food? How often do you use Uber? Right? What is your opinion in user ease? Do you have lots of ads in the app? Does the app get hung? Right? And does it occupy too much space? So all these things are in terms of the application. Is it easy to operate? Is it safe? I find it the payment gateways are very easy. So like this, first part of the question is on Uber application. The second part of the questions are on Uber transport. Okay, so I'm able to access transport service 24/7. The transport services of Uber covers all the areas. The drivers are very friendly. Like this, you have certain set of questions and people would give answers, strongly agree, disagree, like that. Determine the scale and the response format. For example, when I'm asking about do you have other applications, then I can ask a rank order scale. Rank the choice of your preference. Correct? compare. I can use a comparative scale. Compare Uber with. So it depends on your creativity as to how you can use the varying questions. Then assess the reliability and validity of survey. That is what we are going to do today. Reliability and validity. And then administer the question. Either you can do it online or you can send it in WhatsApp, then call them and find out. Okay. So these are the steps involved in planning a questionnaire. Okay. Now that you have done your questionnaire, you have to check your questionnaire for reliability and validity. So these are the two terminologies which are, very important, and even in PhD level, your questionnaire has to be tested for reliability and validity. Now let us see first what is a validity. Validity is the extent to which a test measures what it claims to measure. For example, I am finding out about people's feedback, customer feedback of Uber, and I have given you all a set of questions. Each of these questions, to what an extent it actually collects data, that is validity. Measuring whether the extent to which the test claims, whether it is measuring. Okay. So satisfaction, for example, how satisfied are you? Okay. Whether you are measuring exactly what you are claiming that you are measuring. Okay. So that is your validity. Content validity, there are many, but let us just look at it from this point of view. Validity means what you claim that you are measuring. Is it measuring that exact thing or no? Okay. So that is your validity aspect. Now let us look at reliability. Reliability is the consistency to the test results. What is consistency? Supposing I am distributing this questionnaire in Bangalore, in Bombay, in Boston, whether I am getting consistent results or not. Measuring whether the test gives consistent results. Okay. So again, this is reliability. So validity is the content, reliability is how people are perceiving the content and how they are able to understand it. Clear? Pictorial, you can remember this. Reliability is results are consistent. Validity is results satisfy objectives. Right? Validity is whether it is testing what it claims that it is testing. Reliability is consistency. People who are reading it, whether all of them are giving the same set of answers. Okay? So this is pretty easy to understand basically. Validity is whether your, remember it like this, whether your words, whether your words are appropriate, sentences are appropriate, English is valid. Okay? Whether your questions are valid, then it is validity. What is valid? Whether your questions are valid means whether your questions are actually asking what it is supposed to ask. Okay? As I told you, satisfaction means it is just not one sentence. Satisfaction means a variety of things. Are you satisfied with the ambience, with the food, with the people are, with the way customers respond? Like that set of 10 questions. All the 10 questions, whether it is valid. That is your validity. Reliability is whether it is reliable in Boston, Bangalore, Bombay. Wherever you are giving it, they are reading it the same way, they are understanding it the same way, and they are responding in consistency is there. Okay, so let us look at this diagrammatic representation. Look at this. Reliable but not valid. Reliable means people are understanding it exactly the same way. Okay, they are understanding the questions in the same way. So it is a reliable instrument. Look at this. This is a valid instrument. That means what the questions are asking actually is going and addressing the objectives. Exactly. This is valid. This is reliable. This is neither valid nor reliable. Neither valid nor reliable. Clear? Reliable. That is, all of them are understanding the questions in the same way. Consistency is there in understanding. Reliable. This is valid. Each of the questions are actually asking the right, it is framed in the right way. Sentences are framed so perfectly that it is valid. It is actually measuring what you are claiming to measure, which is called valid. Okay, right. So next is, we will see what is Cronbach alpha. Cronbach alpha is an inter-item correlation. Okay, Cronbach alpha is the most common measure for internal consistency. Okay, internal means whether each question is reliable. If there are 8 questions to measure satisfaction, if each of these questions are reliable or not. It is the most commonly used in multiple Likert scale. Okay, and it is expressed from 0 to 1. Okay, so if the reliability is 0.99, that means very good. 0.85, excellent. Okay, if the reliability is 0.3, no good. Your instrument is no good. You have not worded it correctly. Okay, this is called Cronbach alpha or test for reliability. How this reliability Cronbach alpha is done is, each of the sentences, in other words called items, in the questionnaire, each of the sentence is the questionnaire is reiterate, is there is a inter-item correlation. Okay, inter-item, the computer does it. The inter-item correlation, if there are 8 questions, 8 into 8 times. If there are 20 questions, 20 into 20 times, it will check first item, inter-item correlation with second item, first with the third, first with fourth, fifth, sixth, like that. It conducts 20 times 20 if there are 20 questions. And then it will throw out a result, which is called reliability, which is what is called Cronbach alpha. And that number is between 0 and 1. Okay, so now we will see what is a very reliable table and what is a very reliable strength. Okay, look at this. If it is anywhere between 0.99, 0.98, 0.97, 654, 9, 0 to 9, if your reliability is that, then it is excellent. If it is 8 to 9, 0.8 to 0.9, then your reliability is very good. If it is 7 to 8, good. 6 to 7, moderate. 6 and below, poor. Very high standards. For you all, 6 is first class. For them, 6 is poor. Okay. So what is this? This is strength of association. Strength of association, I told you, each of those sentences in the questionnaire, what is its association score with the other item? Okay. So then you get a value which is called Cronbach alpha, or this is the representation. There is an alpha symbol for it. Alpha coefficient range. So if it is within this range, then this is the marks that it has. Clear? Right. So what is Cronbach alpha? Cronbach alpha is a measurement for internal consistency, reliability. Okay. So if it is reliable, then you should have a score of 7 and above. Then it is a reliable instrument, reliable questionnaire. If the reliability is poor, below 6, you have to remove certain sentences, or you have to reframe certain sentences, and then you have to test it again. Only after getting the reliability score will you be able to do your field work. Okay. So if you have SPSS, it will do. You just have to feed in the data and you will get a reliability score. What you have to understand is reliability measures consistency of people reading it, how they are responding, whether they are understanding it in the same way. Validity is whether the questions are actually measuring what it is supposed to measure. So with this, you finish the module 3, which is one of the most important modules. Each and every aspect over here is practical. It will be useful for you when you are doing your project work in the next 1 month and in the next semester. Okay. I will be giving a set of questions and you will be doing your assignment. I repeat, I have not got back to you all with people who have not done assignments, essentially because when the college opens after 4th, I will make you all submit it in person. Okay. So if you have not done it, please ensure that you work on the first question bank, on the second question bank, and now on the third question bank. Right? This will be the first thing that you will do when you report back to college. Thank you very much. All the very best.